Hey guys, back for another video. As I said prior, I would keep you guys updated as to what's going on with the djenvy situation, and that is why I'm back. I have a chilling video in which djenvy and his wife is having a conversation in which djenvy admits to being a thief. So, he came out a couple of days ago and said he's never stolen anything. But apparently, not only did he steal, he was arrested and has a charge. So, very interesting, right? I know. Let's go ahead and get into this video and then we'll come back to chit chat.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
As a kid. So
liked by friends,
liked by girls,
liked by
girls, guys, everybody. I always wanted to be down. And growing up in Queens, you've seen a lot of street life, street activity. Drug dealers, you would see people drive up and down with nice cars. You would see jewelry,
There's a lot of places in New York, not just Queens, but yeah.
And then even with music videos, you see people making a lot of money. So
and videos were much bigger then than they are now. Mm-hmm.
So I wanted that stuff. So I remember going to college, and college was great. I went to Hampton University, Gail went to Old Dominion, and I just remember hooking up with a bunch of people that were doing things that I didn't need to do, but I did it because I wanted to fit in. Mm-hmm. And one of those things where I knew somebody that had a friend that worked at Costco.
Right. No, it wasn't Costco. It was Sam's Club.
Sam's Club.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is it just down south? It's wherever it is. It's like a variation of a BJ's or a Costco.
Right.
If you're not familiar.
It's called a Sam's Club, and they had a friend that worked there, and they told me that their friend was a security guard at the front door.
Right.
So they were like, what we do is we just go in there with a shopping cart, fill it up. We have a fake receipt, walk right to the door, and drive out and walk right out.
Because the security guard is informed. He's he's the one that checks the receipt, and he'll let you bypass and go out.
Right, and you would have to give him something, whether it was a DVD player at the time. That's when DVD players were big, or whatever it may be. I remember there was nothing in this planet or world that I needed.
Right.
I had everything.
You had a dope apartment.
Right.
Fully stocked fridge.
Right.
Every electronic that you would need to make your life easy. Absolutely. And entertained.
Right. So I remember, but some of my friends in college wasn't as lucky as I was. Mm-hmm. They struggled a little bit, like a lot of college students did. So when this happened, this was the come up. This was the lick. We used to call it a lick. This was the lick. And what I used to do is I used to dress up in a suit every Sunday morning.
Every Sunday morning.
Every Sunday morning. I'm just going to say allegedly, because I don't know if I get in trouble for this, but I think I can.
How could you get in trouble for it?
All right, because I was convicted, right?
You already got in trouble for it.
Right. So I would dress up.
Okay,
every
it's
Sunday.
Like your audio memoir.
Right? I already got in trouble for it.
Exactly.
I would dress up every Sunday in a suit. And the reason I would dress up in a suit is because Sunday I would act like I went to church. So if you go into a department store or Sam's Club, if I'm wearing a suit, I wouldn't look strange. I wouldn't look out of ordinary. People wouldn't necessarily look at me as a thief. They would more look like, oh, he's just coming from church. I would just...
that was the mindset.
It worked. So I dressed up in the suit, and I would get a shopping cart from Sam's Club, and I would fill it up with as much shit that I possibly could.
Sidebar, he kept all of this from me.
Right.
I had no idea that this was going on, because I think you knew that I would have talked some sense into you.
Right. Well, so and at the time DVD players were big, like massagers, stupid shit.
Yeah.
Blenders.
But what's the kind of massager that you would like lay over like a lounge chair or something, and it would massage you in the chair?
Right. At the time, plasmas weren't really they didn't have plasmas.
No, not at that time.
They had like small TVs, like it would be
LCDs.
The LCDs. All types of just shit. I put it there, and then I would just walk right out. He would look at the receipt, and I'd walk out. And I did this about 3-4 times.
I think so.
3-4 times did it, and then of course, like everything else, dude got caught.
Right.
Security guard got caught. Mm-hmm. Now, the way he got caught was Sam's Club was missing, because it wasn't just me doing it. His friends, other people were doing it. It was a bunch of people doing it.
A whole conspiracy.
But I did it not because necessarily I needed the money, but the people that I did it with was my peoples. Mm-hmm. So I just did it to be down, which is whack, horrible,
be down,
coward, soft. But at the time, I just was like, we just all doing it. It's like we all do some stupid shit because we all do it. And a lot of people get in trouble for doing things like this. Mm-hmm. So I just remember the guy got caught because Sam's Club let's say Sam's Club lost $300,000 in that quarter. And they couldn't figure out how they lost the $300,000. Now, I know Sam's Club didn't have cameras because I scouted the place out. So they would go to every employee and be like, look, we got you on camera. We know you stole this stuff. Just confess and let's let it go. Mm-hmm. And, most employees be like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, you can leave. Go to another employee. They'll say the same thing. Another employee be like, what the fuck are you talking about? I didn't do nothing. And let them leave. Mm-hmm. A security guard that I knew through a friend, they said the same thing to him. And what did he say? All right, you got me. He told on himself. Uh-huh. So now the problem with that was when they said, okay, who else is involved? He didn't know who else was coming in and out the store. The only person that he knew was me.
Right.
And he knew me not because of my real name, because I was the DJ on campus, DJ
right.
Envy. Mm-hmm. Envy. So long story short.
Now, how old are you at this point?
I was, a sophomore in college or junior in college?
I think it was your sophomore year.
Sophomore.
No. It was junior year because you were living at the other apartment, not the Harbors. Go ahead.
Junior year in college.
So how old that make you?
I was about 20.
20 is 19 or 20? Probably 19.
19 or 20.
Yeah, 19.
So I get to one day I'm driving home. And when I get to my apartment,
day, I remember like it was enter Gia into the story.
I get to my apartment. And when I get to my apartment, I notice that the door's off the hinges. Mm-hmm. Now, the apartment complex that I lived in Hampton, Virginia, they didn't allow students there. So I had to damn near lie and do all types of shenanigans to get in this apartment. It was like a really upscale apartment.
Right.
So there was no other students. So when I would go to, when I would go to my apartment, I would see all my neighbors kind of look at me funny because they knew that I did some funny business to get there. Mm-hmm. So one neighbor that I would see all the time smoking a cigarette, he was always outside smoking a cigarette. Mm-hmm. So when I got there, see my door off the hinges, I knocked on his door. And I was like, I know you seen me.
You're always out here with that cigarette.
With that cigarette.
Uh-huh.
And I remember like yesterday, he puffed his cigarette. He was like, he pulled the cigarette like.
They can't see you.
Oh, they can hear it. I'm acting right now. Action. He pulled on the cigarette, blew it out at me. He said, he said, the police. I said, what? He said, the police came in here. That's what the police come in here for. So I dialed 911. 911 was emergency.
Why were y'all just at my crib?
I was like, my crib. So they was like, well, they was like, well, hold on. And then they was like, well, there's a warrant on your refrigerator. So I went into the refrigerator and I see it was a warrant. They said they believed that I was in possession of stolen property. Now, I'm not going to lie. There was no stolen property in my apartment. I was not stupid enough to leave this. I mean, I was stupid enough to do it, but
okay.
But I was not.
So where I was going with that,
I was not stupid enough to leave the stolen property in my apartment. So all the stuff that they took was my shit.
Well, see, you left that part out. They came and they took everything
on the phone
that could have possibly been sold at Sam's Club out of his electric. They took out of his apartment.
Right. So they took everything out of my apartment that I really purchased, they took.
Right.
I didn't even say I purchased. My mom purchased.
Exactly.
My mom purchased, they took.
So wait, where were all the stolen goods?
I'll never tell to this day. I'll never tell to this day. I have friends. The friends, but they were out selling this stuff. Like I didn't.
Is that what was happening?
Yeah, they were selling it. They were selling it. And if you heard a couple of episodes ago when we talked about the cheating story, we talked about that one friend that was crazy, Lil Sean.
Yeah.
Lil Sean was the one selling it. Shout out to Lil Sean.
See, now that allegedly. So you'll.
I gotta pause this real quick. I want you to hear this nigga snitch on his man, throw him under the bus, He was saying allegedly and all that for him. And then I want you to protect yourself. I just want you to pay attention. I wish I had a Funk Flex bomb right now I could drop, but just listen to this part right here.
Is that what was happening?
Yeah, it was selling it. It was selling it. And if you heard a couple of episodes ago when we talked about the cheating story, we talked about that one friend that was crazy, Lil Sean.
Yeah.
Lil Sean was the one selling it. Shout out to Lil Sean.
See, now that allegedly. See, you only throw the allegedly in there when you're trying to protect yourself.
You're right. But it's been past. It's been over 10 years. I think we're good. All right, but anyway, so it was
over 10 years. Wow, more than that.
I'm not trying to show my age. I just said over 10.
I was supposed to be like, your math is bad.
No, stop trying to age me. I'm only 29. It was
Go ahead.
It's 10 years. All right, anyway, so they said it was on a warrant was on the thing. So the first thing that I did, and this is what you should tell your kids, even if you have teens or even if you're a teen listening, because we have young listeners as well, 16, 15 sometimes. If you ever get into trouble, never go to the police station yourself. My dad is a police officer. His first thing that he always tells me is the police are not your friends.
Ever.
Ever.
Unless they're trying to protect your life. In the interrogation room. They're never your friends in the interrogation room. We can't say that police aren't your friends, but in an interrogation room, they're never your friends.
No, pretty much they're never your friends. And the reason I say that is the police have a job and they have an investigation to do. You can be innocent of something, but they go where the evidence leads them. So even though that you say, okay, I did nothing wrong, know that they still have to do an investigation. That's what my pops always said about the police.
That's what I'm saying. In an interrogation room, you can't say the police are never your friends.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, right.
You're the son of a retired detective.
And my dad tells me that. I mean...
But the police are intact to protect society.
Right.
Not that it always happens that way.
Right.
But, one bad egg doesn't spoil the dozen.
Absolutely.
So let's say that. But in an interrogation room, your interest has to be yourself.
For a criminal investigation and there's
your
police
interest
around,
has to be yourself.
Protect yourself regardless.
Exactly.
Even if you did absolutely positively nothing, even if there's no way that it could lead to you, you protect yourself.
Right.
So I called the lawyer. And that really helped me out 1,000,000,000%. Most people that went to the police department was like, well, the police don't have no evidence on me. But I called the lawyer and I never had an opportunity to talk to a cop. They had to go through the lawyer. The hardest part of that was I had to tell you, and I had to call home and tell my mom.
Yes.
And it was a scary situation, very scary. I was all over the newspaper in Hampton University, in Hampton. They tried to kick me out of school for it. It was a lot, and to go through the case fast, I was convicted of petty larceny. They didn't have enough evidence to convict me. So I had to either go to trial, which Virginia is a Commonwealth state where they can make up their own rules on certain occasions and change laws, and I didn't want to do that, or I could take this petty larceny charge. I took the petty larceny.
So you pled out.
I pled out to petty larceny. And the reason I wanted to talk about it is that peer pressure of feeling like I had to be down affected everything that I did. That petty larceny charge was on my record for 15 years.
Yes.
Where anytime I would try to travel and make money, it was always a situation. They always put me into another room.
Especially in Canada.
And they would ask me about it all the time, and it would just be embarrassing. It would be embarrassing, all because I tried to fit in.
Right.
And you realize...
realestaterico, djenvy, we hear this man admit that he said the other day he's never stole anything, but now on the podcast with his wife, the nigga said, hey, I stole it all.
But for anybody to say I was involved, that's totally not true.
Okay, guys, so you pretty much heard everything that you needed to hear, but let's just unpack a little of this. So you heard DJ Envy basically have a conversation with his wife, Gia, and he just basically said that he would dress up every Sunday morning in a suit to go and steal. And the reason that he was doing that is because he wanted to give the impression that he had went to church and give that persona as if he was a church abiding person, because then that would mean that people wouldn't think that he was stealing. And then his wife thought it was extremely funny. Whew, that's very interesting. He stated that he would fill up his cart with electronics. Obviously, he knew someone at the store and he would leave the store. But somehow the security guard was doing this with other people, and the security guard got caught, and that is how he ended up getting caught. He did this when he was in college. Ooh, that's very interesting. Hmm. He also said that he knew that the place did not have cameras because he had scoped it out, which clearly is giving criminal behavior, that you would go and scope out, before you commit the act. So that means that he appears and seems to be very criminal minded. He stated that his father is a retired detective, which would clearly give him some knowledge of how to handle certain situations. You would think that it would make him not want to commit these acts, but in his case, it did not. And as a final ending, he admitted to being convicted, but instead of taking a theft charge, he pled to a charge of petty larceny. Um, but we know he's a thief. So y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. This really doesn't look very well on him because, as people has already stated, he's been very quiet about it. But just knowing what his past is all about, and the type of mindset that he has, to the fact that he will scope out a business, go in there and steal, and then also put on a suit as if he was a church person because now he wants to give them the church persona. That's very weird. Okay, so y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. What do you guys think about DJ Envy and everything that's being said about him with bringing that criminal on the Breakfast Club, and now people are actually coming out saying that they were bribed? Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.